Racecraft Formula Automobilista 2 right here, right now. Greetings Rommies and welcome to romrom.net, the channel sharing the joy of sim racing, and to our regular news roundup. Welcome to the channel, thanks for stopping by. My name is Serta and I will be your host for this video. When time permits, please consider subscribing. If you have any news for us, send us a mail to news@romrom.net. Of course, things are taking speed once again, even if for now in small doses. Let's get to it. Surprisingly and unexpectedly, Sector 3 added Indianapolis to the roster, and contrary to what was the case with Daytona, where the oval configuration is there but not supported, meaning drive at your own risk, we forgot to license it and we're not allowed to push it, or something like that. Indianapolis comes with different configurations, including the oval configuration. And as the sim already has cars that are definitely never ever IndyCar and they would never call them like that, well, what are you waiting for? Of course, the no Indy cars in Raceroom have no oval setup. But am I the only one that cannot see any kind of general thought or strategy in what Sector 3 is doing? It's not that I don't like Assen or Indianapolis, it's that the tracks are somehow all over the place. Although Assen may be there because of the DTM 2021. And speaking of that, Raceroom will bring the Ferrari that was used in DTM last year into the sim, and we suppose sooner rather than later the other cars that were part of the DTM. Which isn't difficult, as those are mostly quite standard GT3 cars with some stuff changed specifically for DTM. But with the demise of the Class 1 cars, DTM became just another GT3 series with a couple of different rules, but I digress. Maybe this first car is the start of a whole conversation between Ferrari and Sector 3, and we can expect to see many other Ferraris come to Raceroom. Again, as we fail to see a general strategy, it can be they'll leave it at this one-off. What do we know? Further than that, some small corrections were made in the sim, especially in the physics, which had the developers deleting times in the leaderboards until they noticed that they would have to delete the times of the leaderboard for the Daytona 2.5 hours this weekend. So those leaderboard times were left intact, but the race was done with the new physics. And this is what happens when different parts of a company don't talk to each other, which can be a sign of bad management. But back to the changes. The fuel consumption of the BMW M235i has been reduced ever so slightly. GT2s had also some corrections in the fuel consumption, electric vehicles saw many bug fixes, and P1s and P2s saw such an overhaul of their physics that their leaderboards have been wiped. Bilsterberg fixed a small detail in the cut detection, TT Assen got increased grip, and Daytona saw reduced grip and a wipe of the leaderboard. Kartkraft has become a full sim, at least on paper, as it left early access and went full price this week, but it seems you can still buy it at a reduced price on their webpage. Now, while Kartkraft has had some content added in the last months, including the multiplayer beta, we cannot say it's a full-blown sim in any way, and certainly not worth the full price. Yeah, we have official tracks in there, plus I think 2 more that are either fictional or were community built, and 5 different kart classes, but it's not much, and the plans for the future are kept exceedingly vague. €34.40 USD are a little bit too steep a price for what we consider to be such a small content. We get it, after the disaster called NASCAR 21, Motorsport Games needs any money they can get. If you like this video and would like to see more, consider becoming a patron, thus letting us spread our wings. And a big thank you to our patrons. Update from iRacing. As a new track, it brings yet another oval, the LA Coliseum, which I had never heard of until today, and we suspect you hadn't either, as this seems to be a track not yet opened for racing, but already available on iRacing. We suppose the excellent contacts the iRacing management has to the motorsport world in the US made this possible, well, and some of those sweet greens. Oh wait, are they still called that now that US dollars are multicolored? Also, iRacing has removed the sausage curb at Daytona, the sim supports NVIDIA Reflex, and you can set up in the app ini file how long the spotter messages appear on screen. Many cars have seen small corrections, including some of the NASCAR series, and added to the changes on Daytona, Charlotte Motor Speedway saw a small graphics correction, same as Oran Park Raceway. The rolling start in the Nürburgring has been moved back to the gantry on the straight. Update 1.15 of F1 2021 is not a big one, but certainly bigger than the whole of NASCAR 21's roadmap, or almost. You now can use a custom team within a Grand Prix, and network warning indicators have been added to multiplayer games. Also, 2 bugs regarding multiplayer have been addressed. It seems sometimes you could get stuck in the garage after retiring from practice or qualifying, and it seems sometimes you could just not connect to online sessions. Also, the AI has been made slower at specific points in Austria, Belgium and Netherlands, as sporadic loss of force feedback and console and wrong penalties in Jeddah have been corrected, as well as a couple of issues on F2 races and some general stability issues. If you want to read all the details, check the link in our description. Psst! Come nearer, we don't want everyone to know this. Okay, so a little birdie told us that there's an update for Automobilista 2 incoming tomorrow, and it'll have Road America and something called Formula Retro Group 3 that may be the 1983 Formula 1 with the McLaren MP41C and the Arrows A6 in it. Also some karts like Ford, Mercedes, what's the plural? Hondas and Toyotas seem to be incoming too. We'll have the whole of the information then confirmed on next week's news, but remember where you heard it first, on this your favorite channel. Hear much more by checking the playlist to the left or the video to the right. Until next time, save fuel, collect pickup, and we'll see each other on the podium.